Hey everybody, this is Unit 3, Formative 3, solving systems by substitution. So yesterday we solved systems by graphing, so we had to find where the two lines crossed. Today is going to be using substitution. So this is just a second method to find a solution to a system. Okay, first we have to actually define what substitution is. Well, substitution is when we just plug or replace something into another equation. Okay, so let's look at 4x minus 3 when x equals 2. Well, how would we simplify that? We would take the x equals 2, and we would take that 2 and we would plug it in for x. So that would give us 4 times 2 minus 3. So we would have 8 minus 3, which would give me 5. Okay, so that's just a simple version of substitution, or what substitution actually is. Okay, and in order to substitute, we need to have a variable by itself. Okay, so like the x is by itself, x equals 2 is by itself. Okay, so let's look at an example here. Here's a system of equations. So yesterday what we would have done is we would have gotten out our graph paper and we would have graphed these two lines, and we would have had to keep going on our graph until we found where they crossed. Okay, once you get good at substitution, this is actually a more effective method. Okay, because graphing is not going to be very easy with some sorts of equations. You might have to extend your graph forever and ever. So these are easier because you don't necessarily need a piece of graph paper with you. Okay, so first thing we want to look for is to make sure we have a variable by itself. Well, we do, because we have the y equals here, and we actually have a second one that's there by itself. So both of them are there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this part of our equation, so y equals negative 4x plus 8, and if y equals that, we're going to replace the y in the second equation. Okay, so now we're going to rewrite our equation as negative 4x plus 8 equals x minus 7. Because remember, we replaced this for the y, okay, because y is equal to this, so we're going to put that in for y. And now we're just going to solve that equation. So think back to what we did at the beginning of the year. So we want to move our x's to the same side, so that means we'd have to add 4x. Okay, that's going to get rid of that on that side. That'll leave me with 8 is equal to x plus 4x gives me 5x minus 7. Add 7 to both sides. That gives you 15 is equal to 5x. Divide by 5. So 3 is equal to x. Okay? Now, when we are solving, remember yesterday when we solved by graphing, we had an ordered pair as our answer. We had an x comma y as our answer. Well, this right here will be our x value. So now we need to find our y value. Well, if we look back into our equations, y is equal to negative 4 times x plus 8, or y is equal to x minus 7. It does not matter which equation you plug it back into, whatever one you think is easier. Okay, well in this case, all I have to do is take the x and subtract 7. This one I would have to multiply and then add. So I'm just going to plug it into my second one here to say y is equal to 3 minus 7. So now I'm substituting again. So I'm taking this and I'm plugging it in for x. Okay, so notice how I substituted twice here. I substituted here, and then I substituted back up here. Okay, solve this, y equals 3 minus 7 is negative 4. So there's your second answer. Your final answer then would be 3 comma negative 4. There's your ordered pair. That's where your two lines would cross on your graph. So you can figure it out without even graphing them. All right, here's another one. So our first equation here, x equals 3y minus 4, and x plus y equals 4. So this one here is in terms of x. It's x equals 3y minus 4. Okay, now we don't even know how to graph this one, and this one would be harder to graph too, okay, because it's in standard form. So easiest method here would be substitution. So we're going to substitute 3y minus 4, okay, and since that's equal to x, we're going to substitute it in for x. So that means that the x is going to get replaced with the whole quantity 3y minus 4 plus y, and that plus y is coming from right here, so we can't forget about that, equals 4. So once again, this part right here was our x. Okay, now we just solve this. So we have 3y minus 4 plus y. Really, I could rewrite this if I wanted without the parentheses because there's really just a 1 out here. Okay, now I'm going to combine my like terms because they're on the same side of the equal sign. Remember, same side of the equal sign, you just combine them. You don't have to do the opposite sign. 3y plus y gives you 4y minus 4 equals 4. Add 4 to both sides to move that over. 4y equals 8. Divide by 4. And you're going to get y to be 2. Okay, so here would be a good place to pause the video. Make sure you get this written down. Make sure you understand what I just did. Okay, if not, rewatch it. All right, so now y equals 2. So now if y equals 2, that means we have part of our ordered pair here. That means we have the y value, so we need to find our x value. Okay, so x is equal to 3y minus 4. So we could plug it into either equation. It does not matter. The first one's actually going to be a little bit easier in this case because x is equal to 3 times y, which is 2 in this case, minus 4. Now we got the 2 because we just solved for 2 right here. Okay, so now x is going to be equal to 6 minus 4. X is equal to 2 as well. So your ordered pair then is 2, 2. Circle your answer. That's where your lines would cross if you were to graph them. All right, did you know that the average person falls asleep in 7 minutes? All right, and here is our last problem here. So we have 3y plus 2x equals 43. That problem is not in, variable is not by itself in that problem. Okay, but then we look at our second equation. We have y equals 6x plus 1. The y is by itself for this one. So that means that we could plug 6x plus 1 in for y. Okay, because y is equal to that. Now, the 6x plus 1 does not replace the 3. It only replaces the y. So we write that like this. 3 times 6x plus 1. So we show that with parentheses. 3 parentheses 6x plus 1 plus the 2x, remember that doesn't go away, equals 43. So remember, this part right here is just this part of the equation. This 3 gets right here. The only thing that was replaced was the y. And it was replaced with 6x plus 1 because that's what y is equal to. Okay, so now we're going to distribute because we have a number on the outside. So that gives me 18x plus 3 plus 2x equals 43. Draw your line. Combine your like terms. So 20x plus 3 equals 43. Subtract 3. You get 20x equals 40. Divide by 20. You get x is 2. Okay, so now that we have x is 2, we can start our ordered pair, put the 2 in the x position. Okay, remember it's x comma y. So now that x equals 2, we want to find y. Well, the easier equation would be to plug it into this one right here. Remember, it doesn't matter which one. So we're going to replace the x with a 2 now. So we're going to substitute back in right here. Okay, so now we have y is equal to 6 times 2 plus 1. Y equals 12 plus 1. Y is going to be 13. So we put 13 in for y. There's your answer. That's where your lines would cross on your graph, and that is your solution. All right, make sure you rewatch the video if you need to. We will see you later.